With legal action threatened and more, this is Pro Wrestling Central. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Mentioning how WWE turned down ideas for her no-holds-barred match against Naomi, Jade Cargill told Metro UK, "There was so much we wanted to use that was asked. We wanted to use mace, that was going to be tough. And then we wanted to use razors, and that was going to be tough. But I welcome it. I wish we were able to use the mace. But we gotta think about the crowd. We don't want anybody in the crowd to be maced because mace goes so far. That would have been wild. The whole first row would have been lit with mace." Speaking about what went on behind the scenes at AAA Triple Mania over the weekend, Triple H said this in a backstage video. "You know, in a sort of looking at the landscape of the wrestling world overall, there was a thought of places that we could amplify sort of what they do. One of the first and foremost markets that we thought of was Mexico. How can we help to grow what they do? How can we help to add to it? If you'd have told me even 20 years ago that one of the big sort of driving forces behind AAA in Mexico would be the Undertaker, it would have been hard for me to sort of wrap my head around that." Ringside News added, "Sources close to the situation also noted that the Undertaker has been making regular trips to Mexico to stay hands-on with the product. While many fans associate him strictly with WWE's darkest personas, his real-life role is now tied directly to helping shape the future of Lucha Libre." Triple H also said, "Here I am again right now with the two guys I respected the most in my generation, getting to do this right now. It's an incredible feeling. While sometimes an event like Triple Mania can feel like the end of a run, this is really the start. This is day one." Recalling how NXT trainees had to clean wrestling rings after a herpes outbreak, Mandy Rose noted on her Power Alphas podcast, "I felt bad for Tino Sabatelli. I watched this like good-looking stud, put up lights, and then he saw his first cockroach and he was like, oh my god. Then we had to clean the rings in NXT because there was like a herpes outbreak, guys. I don't even know if everyone knows that one. This is the beautiful thing too. I get why they do this for most people as well. It's because there's always, a bottom. You always have to work your way up." Providing information on her injury and recovery, NXT's ADRIANA RIZZO said this on YouTube, "I blew out my knee. Bad. Tore my ACL, meniscus, and MCL damage, so it's going to be a while till I'm back wrestling, and I'm back doing anything. The current update is that I feel pretty good. I don't have any pain or instability. Nothing crazy." Calling out WWE Unreal for faking backstage booking scenes, Billy Body said this on the Dirty Sheets Wrestling Informer podcast. "Another thing that is very fake is the documentary, Unreal. Parts of it are real, but more or less, this is a staged documentary by the WWE, and there are even staged scenes in there. Whilst people are correct to get annoyed, you are actually seeing staged inner workings of the WWE. There was no real discussion about who was going to win between CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. When I saw that, and I saw all the writers sitting around the room discussing who was going to win that match after it was already booked, I knew the whole show was pretty much staged. The only reason you did that match and turned it into a triple threat was to give Seth Rollins a faction. We knew Seth Rollins was going to be leading a faction, and we knew Paul Heyman was going to be tied to him when the match was made. We knew Seth Rollins was going to be the winner, and therefore Unreal Real released a staged scene where WWE were fake talking about the winner of that WrestleMania main event, which makes me feel like they were fake booking the Royal Rumble winner as well, where the decision for Jay was probably made, but they decided for the sake of the documentary, let's release a scene where we talk about this particular thing. So there's a lot of fake stuff in there. The premise is real, but the scenes they've chosen to give you are not real. At the Fan Expo in Chicago, John Cena would defend Logan Paul ahead of their match at Clash in Paris, saying this in a video posted on Instagram by It's Wheezy Blonde.
First of all, I want to thank Logan Paul's family for being here tonight. Man, do you think this audience likes Logan Paul? I don't know if you're going to like my answer, but I've always been one of those guys that you don't have to like, you can hate, but I'd like to think that I earn people's respect. So what I'm about to say might not be the answer you're looking for, but hopefully you'll respect it. Do I think Logan Paul could beat me up? Yes. I think he's got a very good chance of beating me because he's really good at WWE. And I know there's not a lot of people in this room that like him. He is not a likable guy. I disagree. I think he's underrated. I think he gets a bad rap. He's not an outsider. He belongs in the WWE. I think his best days are ahead of him. I think he's got championships in his future. I can tell you that I'm not looking past Logan Paul, and I'm not believing any of the hype that he's this outsider and should be taken lightly. I'm training hard. Cody Rhodes brought out the best in me at SummerSlam. Reignited the fire in me, and I know I have a very, very tough opponent in Logan Paul. So do I think he can beat me up? Yes. Will he have to earn every inch? Absolutely.
Recalling how Scott Steiner nearly died backstage in TNA, Georgia Deputy Sheriff and wrestling promoter Chris Laser Johnson told the Talk and Shop podcast, "I just happened to go check on something and Scott's laying in the floor. There's people around him, they're holding his hand and they're talking to him. I'm getting close to him and he's purple, like his lips. Brother's not breathing. Why are we holding hands, right? And I know nobody at this point. I'm like, listen, we've got to do this. So I jumped in and I start to compress chest compressors. If you're unresponsive, even though you're not breathing, if you're getting blood pumped to your organs, they're usually going to be okay. If you keep that blood pumping, you're probably not going to go brain dead. They come in with a defibrillator and all the things and shock him and send him on his way. And I'll be honest, I told him this after we talked. I did not think he was alive when he left." Doc Gallows added, "He will say that. He says, Laser saved my life." Going over an AEW star threatening legal action against a AAA name, Ringside News wrote that Beast Mortos is breathing fire after what he saw at AAA Triplemania, and he's ready to lawyer up. The AEW star took to Twitter/X after catching footage of La Copa Bardal at AAA's biggest show of the year, streamed live from Arena CDMX in Mexico City on August 16, 2025, via WWE's official YouTube channels in both English and Spanish. Mortos was not thrilled about what he saw, specifically Taurus's gear and overall look during the match. Mortos felt these similarities were too close for comfort and didn't hold back online. Preparing the lawsuit, he wrote early Sunday morning, "See you in court." While Mortos didn't go into detail about what exactly crossed the line, fans immediately picked up on the aesthetic similarities: horned mask, dark beast-like presentation, and overall attitude. Torres competed in the multi-man Copa Bartal bout, which also featured names like Otis, Laredo Kid, and eventually saw Omos walk away with the trophy. So far, Torres hasn't responded to the post, but the monster drama might just be heating up between promotions. Hours after tweeting preparing the lawsuit, see you in court, right after Torres appeared at AAA Triple Mania in gear that looked eerily similar to Mortos's, the AEW star is changing his tune, facing backlash from fans who accused him of overreacting and stirring unnecessary drama. Mortos returned to X with a follow-up. I'm actually working on a real case about a woman who suffered physical violence in her marriage, but it's funny to know that they linked it to the character of Torres. This is funny. The timing raised eyebrows immediately. Mortos didn't mention the real-life case in his original post, only after the Torres comparison blew up online and he started catching heat for it. For context, Mortos doesn't typically tweet about his legal work, and the explanation only surfaced after the initial post triggered backlash. The sudden shift in narrative has led to even more questions about whether the lawsuit tweet was really about something else, or if he's just walking it back. Whether it was a misunderstood message or a quick backpedal, Mortos' attempt at clarification hasn't exactly cooled down the conversation. If anything, it's added more confusion to an already chaotic situation. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.